standing in front of what is about to be the newest gym on the west side of Maui, the Powerhouse Gym. It's supposed to be opened already, but they've had a few technical difficulties, and it should happen any day now. I met with the owner last week, and he said they had a problem with their water heater. What's coming? They're waiting for a part. The county, of course, was a little late in getting their inspections done, but it should happen potentially this week. Never fails. You go live, some guy goes by with a muffler, trying to be like cool with his '06 Acura. But anyway, I'm located here in Lahaina Gateway Shopping Center, right across from the Cannery Mall. Let me just orientate you, just so you know where it's located. So here we are. This is where the Sunday Bazaar happens, where they set up all the tents. Over there's Lahaina Cannery, Long's Drugs. Just to orientate you, Safeway, in case you're not from the area. Those of you that are would remember that up here was the steakhouse a long time ago. And then the competitor had a temporary facility, the Club Maui, if you remember years ago, before COVID and all that craziness. They opened up in this Sherwin-Williams, and they promised members that they would build out this upper level. And then they never did it. They ended up going to Lahaina town and also up in Kahana. But the Powerhouse Gym, these guys have been actually working on this project for 5 long years, if you can believe it. 5 years it took him to get to this stage. And the owner explained to me the reason is because he started in 2021, and then the building sold to another landlord, and ultimately they had to start negotiations over. And then, of course, the fire hit. And then construction, timelines, moving equipment. There's no service elevator here, so they literally had to hoist everything with this boom up onto the roof and then into the actual facility. And it was just a very long, drawn-out build-out. Took forever, but what a absolute gift this is going to be to the west side of Maui. I'm going to go up there and show you around a little bit. The gym, like I said, is not open yet, so I can't take you in there. I'm supposed to meet the owner and do a little bit of an expose on the inside. I did tour the entire facility last week, and let me tell you what, guys, this thing is nuts. It is absolutely amazing. The millions of dollars they must put into the equipment. The bathrooms look like something out of the Grand Wailea meets the Montage, I mean, it's a gorgeous facility. They have a dry sauna and just loads and loads of equipment and beautiful lighting. It's got amazing sound system. The flooring is next level. I mean, this guy spared no expense. I've been a gym rat my whole life. I know I don't look like it, but I am. Love going to the gym. And it's a great community thing for folks to get together and work out and get healthy. And anyway, I'm climbing these stairs. I'm not going to get out of breath, right? So you can check my fitness level right now. Just kidding. All right, let's check it out real quick. All right. So through the eyes of the camera and the windows, I'll be able to give you a little bit of a peek into here. And look at all that brand new sparkling equipment, man. Oh my gosh, it goes on. I believe there's 4 squat racks. There's 2 back there, and there's 2 or 3 more back in the cave, they call it. I'll show you that. Well, I can't show you that because there's no windows in the cave, but it's a low lit area. There's 2 different racks of dumbbells. You can kind of see them back on that wall. Tons and tons of hammer strength. And a fair amount of treadmills and cardio equipment, but he said, you know, they can't, he says most gyms put too much of this cardio equipment in, it gets a little bit underutilized, so he thinks he's got the right ratio. And there will be more equipment, obviously, that's coming. Believe it or not, it looks like it's chock-a-block full, but he says there's even more that's on the way. As you can see, lots of nice television screens. The other thing that's nice about this is, unlike the Club Maui that's gouging people right now for a very mediocre gym setup, this is going to be relatively affordable. I think about $50 a month. You can see some of the merch they got going. And do you see this this beautiful tile they have in this stonework here? That's the bathrooms, man. The bathrooms, like I said, they got that new brass kind of gold sink and hardware, multiple showers. But yeah, it's literally, this place is as luxury as you can fathom. I mean, it's so nice. Special flooring that they brought in. It's super soundproof for the hardware store down below. Thought this was kind of cool. All of the equipment, a lot of the gym equipment was actually custom made with like the island chain on there, lift with Aloha. This is actually one of the entrances here. I think there's 2 entrances. Lots of shirts, lots of merch, and just the nicest owner, man, I'm telling you. There's a Powerhouse down in Kihei, so he's pretty well established in the community down there. He has 75 employees, so you'll be supporting a local business, obviously. They'll be doing group fitness classes. And we're all, look at this lighting. It's really the coolest lighting. And right around the corner here, you can't see it, but there's this thing called the cave. And it will actually have like very low lighting. So I have like this whole different mood, this whole different vibe, because here I can kind of show it to you through this window over here. Hang on a second. So the gym actually wraps around through this whole area right here. And this is the area that they're calling the cave. And it's got this lighting. So this is actually be the way the lighting will look. You can see a whole nother rack of dumbbells back there. So instead of like the hyped out, overlit, it'll be sort of this low lit vibe, which I've never experienced that before. I'm kind of excited to see what that's gonna feel like. But 5 years in the making, millions of dollars been poured into this. And obviously it's going to take a pretty good chunk of participation from the community to make this thing financially viable over the years, but I'm sure it will happen. You know, the amount of people, this is one of the most needed things on the west side of Maui, because obviously the fire, you know, took out some facilities there. And, you know, we've just never had, I think the other one that was in Kanapali for a while, that one burned. The one that was in Kahana, that one burned. You know, so we've got a pretty bad history of gyms in this area. And man, we need it. Hammer strength, just all of it's untouched, brand new. Oh, I just can't wait. Can't wait to get in there. Now, I'll still go to the montage, of course, but this will just be the ultimate powerhouse. Just get, oh, the other thing, this is gonna be awesome too. It's gonna be, from what I understand, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be 24-hour. So you can literally get your workout on no matter what your work schedule is. Because one of the challenges I have with the montage, Kapalua Bay, is when I joined it, it was open from 6 to 7 p.m., which is good for us worker bees. But then they changed the hours and they close at 6 p.m. now. So it's like, it's really difficult to get there after work and actually get a workout in. So having the 24-hour factor, obviously being air conditioned. I think the block is now finally air conditioned, which is another gym up around the corner. Shout out to Tyler, the owner there, does a great job. But this will be some competition, highly needed, obviously. And of course, hopefully the club Maui, who promised build outs, right? They promised to build out a pier, which they never did. They promised to build out the upper level of Kahana, which they never did. They did do the build out in Lahaina. Of course, that's the one that burned. But you know, I kind of joined the Club Maui believing this was going to get built out and that the one in Kahana was going to get built out, but it never did. They just kept it commingled with the golf shop, which was kind of weird. And then also during COVID, some of the employees, I won't mention any names, were just super mean, like crazy. Like your mask would drop like from here to here. And they're like, hey, put your mask on. You're like right in the middle of a set. So they were kind of like, you know, the COVID Nazis. And that sucked, you know. It was just such a nightmare. So that's actually why I left that gym and went up to the montage, because I was just so sick of that nonsense. But anyway, that's all over, thank goodness. So in the comment section, let me know, are you gonna join the Maui Powerhouse Gym? And if you're here on vacation, guess what? They're gonna do day passes so you can come in here and work out. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I go on vacation, I was just on a short vacation up in Colorado, Minnesota, I actually use it as an excuse because I have extra time on my hands to get into better shape than when I left. I actually lost 10 pounds when I went to Colorado, Minnesota. Because honestly, working is difficult sometimes to get your workouts in because you're busy working. But when you're on vacation, you got no excuse because y'all all kinds of time. So anyway, be sure to support this business when you come here on vacation. Shout out Eric West to the owner or the staff when you get there and say, hey, we saw it first on YouTube on hawaiirealestate.org, and I really believe that this is an absolute cornerstone of community health, of wellness, of bringing people together and getting in shape and staying in shape and getting even in better shape, especially as you're going to come here and you're going to retire and you're going to want to get into better health, because a lot of people I know are coming here after a long career, after many years of working, after many years of neglect, and now you've got a place that I think is literally on the cutting edge of a gym. And it's not afraid to be a gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can actually rack some weights, do some squats, no chalk, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real freaking gym. There's this other franchise in Kahului where they specifically have sort of an anti kind of weightlifting vibe going on, and it's like, no man, let's have a real gym with real weights, with real people doing real work. And I went to the original Gold's Gym. Went to Muscle Beach in Venice. I went and saw Arnold Schwarzenegger at the Gold's Gym. You know, so it's just been something that's been a part of my life. With the high school that I went to, I transferred as a junior, and the vice principal, I'll never forget it, when I was sitting in his office, he's like, Eric, you know, we're a weightlifting high school, so I hope you like to lift weights. And in my high school, you know, there were shirts that you got awarded based on your bench press. So there was a 200, there was a 225, there was a 250, there was a 275, there was a 300, there was a 350, and there was a 400. So if you were a freshman, right, and you got a 200, that was like, you have made the grade. If you were a freshman and you had a 250, which was a blue one, man, you were the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like 250 as a freshman. Then there was the yellow ones, which was the 300. Those were all the big monsters on the football team. So everybody in my high school, not every day they'd wear them, but you know, you had the bragging rights of a certain bench press that you could do. I did 345s on each side, which I think is what, 315, or I did that my freshman year of college. So I was a little bit of a lagger. I was 17 when I graduated high school, graduated early, not because I'm smart, because I lived in Australia. But the importance of weight training was burned into my brain at a very, very young age. And I just think it's one of the keys to health is weight training, not just your cardio, not just your stretching, not just your walking, not just your good diet, exercise, and sleep, but also muscle building. And there's a lot of research that now shows that your muscles are actually the biggest organ in your body, not the skin, the muscles. And so death begins in the legs. So it's very important. I tell people, a funny, quick funny story. I was actually in the sauna in Minnesota, in this little small town, in a sauna, and there was these two like 85-year-old women in there, right? And they're just in there sauning, like at 170. I'm like, that's impressive. So I started telling them, I said, hey, you know what, ladies, just as a thing, you know, did you know that the most important thing you can do for your health is to go into the weight room over there and just do leg presses. You don't have to do squats. There's just a leg press machine. There's a curl, right? There's a, you know, I said, that's it. If you just, because I said death begins in the legs, and they've connected leg strength with longevity, with overall health and fitness. So I said, you know, that's really one of the major keys. And I said, hey ladies, did you ever go into the weight room and all that stuff? They're like, no. And they kind of looked at me funny, and they're like, we don't want to live any longer. Like, we're ready. I was like, okay, that totally destroyed my argument. I'm like, okay, then continue to not do leg exercises. But anyway, if you go into to an old folks home, right? Most people, right? They are in wheelchairs and walkers. So keep doing your leg strength exercises. You don't have to be a power lifter. You don't have to do squats and deadlifts and sumo and all this stuff. You can literally just do a pin-loaded machine and do some leg presses, do some curls, you know, do some leg extensions. And I'm telling you, that is literally one of the foundational pillars of health. It is. So now you can do it here at Powerhouse Gym, almost 24 hours a day for about $50 a month. Support your local business, come down and check it out. And hopefully I'll be doing an update video as soon as I can go in there and give you an actual tour of the place. But I'm just so excited. We've been checking in every day to see if they're open yet. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to shoot a live and tell you all about what I think is one of the most exciting openings, business openings happening here in Lahaina very soon. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to shaka the video, share it, like it, subscribe to it, comment on it. And of course, as always, if you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you know, I always shout out Daniel, right? Blind Daniel, help Daniel. Got my microphone here. See, this is my, by the way, if you haven't tried these things, man, they are the shocks. These are the ultimate bone conduction ear. And this is like my microphone. I talk on the phone to people all day long. And I've got ones for swimming too. They have the ones that are Open Swim Pros. They're amazing. You can swim in the water. By the way, if you're gonna do cardio, man, mix it up. Run, bike, swim. Absolutely. Don't just do one and walk. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, helpdaniel.org. Thank you for going to helpdaniel.org. He's probably not gonna be in here working out. Maybe we can bring him down for a thing or two, right? But being blind, obviously it's very difficult to do anything, let alone what we kind of take for granted. And what you should be doing, even though you might think it's hard, getting a workout in, joining the gym and coming every day no matter what, hail, rain, snow, shine. Of course here it's every day is never-ending summer. But my point is that Daniel can't come do this, right? So if you could support him, we can at least help get his rent paid. And if you don't know anything about Daniel, please go to helpdaniel.org, read about his story. He is a Lahaina fire survivor. He should be sitting right across the street in Lahaina apartments right now, but he's not. He's in a little box where the air conditioner broke and he's been sweating, isolated, and it's just tough. And he has to pay FEMA rent. So if you think you're having a bad day, that's how my write-up starts on helpdaniel.org. If you think you're having a bad day, if you think you're having a rough week, if you think you're having a rough life, read his story, and I will promise you, you will be like, wow. And you're gonna wanna give him a little bit of your treasure. $5, $10, $100, $500, whatever you can afford. Everyone can afford something different, right? We all have different levels of ability and capability, right? The billionaire with his $550 million yacht that's been parked outside of Lahaina for the last few days, for him, $50 is like 1/10 of a penny. So his ability is obviously way greater. Will he help Daniel.org? I don't know. He's probably not watching this video. But my point is, give what you can. Give what you can afford, but give something, because it will make a huge difference to helping Daniel.org stay in his FEMA housing. That costs money, and he can't work. He doesn't have a job. Obviously, he's unemployable. He lost his sight in his, I think he was 40. So who can prepare for that? Like most blind people, they lose their sight when they're born or earlier in life, and they can adapt. Not Daniel. It happened suddenly, and it's a real kick in the pants. So we're here to help. I'm gonna make my 40K goal on that, and every penny, absolutely every penny, goes directly to him. So I got nothing to do with the money other than I raise it and I help him, and you will help Daniel.org if you can. If you can't, say a prayer for him, or better yet, do both. And the best yet is to pray for him, give, and then put it on the monthly. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let's go. Powerhouse, man. I can't wait. Yes, Maui Dan, where's the button? I know, I'm boring. I do the same thing over and over. But consistency's good, trust me. It works.